The Bengals landed Daxton Hill in round 1. What are they going to do on day 2 of the NFL draft? Let's talk about it. Hi again, everyone. I'm James Rapien of AllBengals.com and Cincinnati Bengals Talk here at Paul Brown Stadium, where day 2 of the NFL draft, well, it's almost here. It kicks off on Friday evening, and the Bengals, well, they have 2 picks, 63rd overall, 95th overall, and, of course, trades can happen, as we saw in round 1. So many trades and crazy deals and everything like that, and who knows? Maybe the Bengals move down or move up. They would certainly have to move up in round 2 if they wanted to stay in round 2, since they're the second to last pick, 63rd overall. But they could certainly move down. But what will they do? Well, they already took Daxton Hill, and make sure you check out our instant reaction video to the Daxton Hill pick. Spoiler alert, I'm a fan of it. I think it was a really high-end pick, a wise pick. Find out why in that video. But now, since they've addressed the secondary, do they still need a corner? I think so, and I think that Daxton Hill provides them some of that and can play the nickel corner spot and can move around the field and be this chess piece for Lou Anarumo, which makes a ton of sense. At the same time, even though you land that, I still think they're on the hunt for a cornerback, and that could be the pick at 63. I'll give you some names here, and to me it starts with the guys that we talked about at the end of round 1. Are we sure that Andrew Booth Jr., medicals-wise, they're not going to cause him to fall to 63? Now, I don't think so. He's probably going to go maybe 40th or 45th. But what if he falls to 63? I would probably be pretty damn excited if I'm the Bengals if Andrew Booth Jr. fell there, because he is a low-end first-round, early second-round type player. Medicals could have been the reason he fell. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that's why the Bengals didn't pick him. I think Daxton Hill was just higher on their board. But medicals could certainly have been an issue with his injury history. Roger McCreary, length concerns. But to me, that's a guy really good high-end ball skills. Daxton Hill has great ball skills. You had 2 pieces like that to the secondary, could be huge for the Bengals, for Lou Anarumo in this defense. Kyler Gordon would be the dream scenario, I think, because to me, he was probably in play if they had traded down from 31 to 40. And so if he somehow found his way to 63, I think that would be one as well. The other one, and this one's probably the most realistic out of all of them, Cam Taylor-Britt out of Nebraska. I think he could be in play at 63. Those other guys might be off the board. We'll see. But certainly someone else to keep an eye on. But here's the thing. If they go with cornerback, then a shallow defensive tackle class gets even more shallow when you look at 95. And so they may try to go that route at 63, but there's only a few guys that really stand out to me. If Perrion Winfrey's there at 63 in round 2, you're probably running to the podium. So that's someone. Travis Jones, will he fall that far? I mean, he was getting a lot of first-round buzz. I don't think he's going to. And then Logan Hall. And Logan Hall, versatile, much like a Daxton Hill. If you could get him, that would be great too. And so maybe one of those guys falls. If not, you might be better off waiting until round 3, where a Josh Pasco out of Kentucky, the edge rusher that does have the flexibility to kick inside, he could be in play there. And who knows, maybe they consider him at 63. Certainly someone that could be a contender here on day 2. The other one, and this is the interesting one, in both Peter Schrager and Peter King both mocked Trey McBride to the Bengals at 31. And it seemed like there's a lot of buzz about that this week. I didn't hear that. I was hearing some Daxton Hill, which is why we covered it pretty heavily here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. But, yeah, he was, a hot commodity, so to speak, with some of these national writers. And so to me, I look at it and it's like, all right, well, if Trey McBride is there at 63, now you're really you're in a tough spot. Because what if, let's do an either or. If Perrion Winfrey or Trey McBride, you have Trey McBride 40th on your board, Winfrey 47th, but Winfrey is the higher need and the more urgent need, and I think that's fair. They need a 3 technique, a guy that can, on the interior of their defensive line, that's going to get pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and Winfrey, that's what he did at Oklahoma. Do you go that route, or do you take Trey McBride, give Joe Burrow another weapon, get this complete tight end that you feel is really confident, or you're confident that could be, a high-end playmaker while also doing all the blocking and everything that you ask your tight ends to do here in Zach Taylor's offense? So that would be a fun one. Greg Dulcich, another guy, I think. What if all this is smoke, is BS with Trey McBride, and they actually have Dulcich higher? I could see that. This pass-catching dynamic tight end out of UCLA that just is great after the catch, is just gets yak, yak, yak. One more name, and I have a list here. That's why I'm looking. Skyy Moore. And I don't think he's going to fall. But the one thing offensively I could see is them saying, all right, look, we need a guy with twitch. We need a guy that is going to really bring it in the slot, especially long term. And that could be, a guy like Skyy Moore. I mean, most people think he's the best slot in this class. He was getting first round buzz. But here's the benefit to day 2. Only one quarterback is off the board. That means some quarterbacks are going to go early. I think the wide receiver run is just kind of a setting the stage for what's going to happen. I expect Alec Pierce to go pretty early out of the University of Cincinnati. I expect guys like Skyy Moore to go pretty quickly. And so if that happens, it bumps everybody else down. Much like Daxton Hill, it bumps them down, and then you can look up and someone will be there. And that's the thing. If they take a defensive lineman, and I think that's where they would target in round 2 if they could, well, then you still need the corner. And is that COBY BRYANT at 95 out of the University of Cincinnati? I think that could be a good fit. Is that a guy like MATHIS out of Pittsburgh? I think that could be a good fit. Does DEMARVIN LEAL fall to them defensive line-wise at 95? Could be in play there versus round 2. Another guy in one of the few, I think, interior defensive linemen that could make sense there. So I'm hitting on a lot of names here, but I want to give them to you so you're at least aware of them going into tonight's draft. The other thing I could see them doing, if they don't get interior at all and they go corner round 2, well, then an offensive lineman in round 3, that could certainly be in the range. A Sean Ryan type guy out of UCLA, Cam Jurgens out of Nebraska, a guy who's maybe more powerful than Tyler Linderbaum, not necessarily as athletic. A center that could come in, though, plug-and-play type. I was going to say Cole Strange, but the Patriots reached on him by about a round and a half, 2 rounds, by taking him ahead of Daxton Hill, which was just insane. And they did that. And that's really how Daxton Hill fell to the Bengals. I thought he was going to the Patriots. I thought they were in on him potentially at 21. They trade back. I was like, oh, maybe they think he's going to be there, and he was. And they take Cole Strange, a guy that literally probably would be available for the Bengals at 63, you thought, and maybe even 95. And they took him much, much earlier. So those are a lot of the names that come to mind. I'll have more. I'm going to post a full list at allbengals.com. We're also going to have on Friday a media session with Daxton Hill. So stay tuned for that. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and buckle up. Because, look, we're at Paul Brown Stadium, baby. This is what we do. This is what we do during draft time. Look at that. Bengals right outside the locker room. It doesn't get much better than that. But that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here for you right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk, allbengals.com. Also check out the Locked On Bengals podcast. For Andrew Fox Miller, our channel coordinator, I'm James Rapien, signing off for now right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk from Paul Brown Stadium.